Welcome to St. Francis Women's Soccer here on a beautiful late September evening here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. St. Francis taking on St. Ambrose, the team coming over from the state of Iowa here in tonight's game. It is a beautiful night, one of the late summer nights here in Illinois that we don't really know how many more of these we'll get before the fall weather comes and before it starts getting a little chilly, but for now, it's actually pretty hot when the sun is beating down, but there is some shade over the field right now, so it should be pretty pleasant for the players throughout this game. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Kyle Mathis. Good to be with you this evening as the Fighting Saints take on the Fighting Bees. And this should be a good game. Let's go through the starting lineups really quick as we await the kickoff in this game. Starting with the visiting team, St. Ambrose. Starting off as number 3, Mia Hefner. Number 4, Lauren Malone gets the start. Number 7, Lauren Bendall. Number 9, Jenna Horst. Number 10, Addie Kirchhoff. Number 11, Ellie Bear. Number 12, Mia Vetter. Number 14, Isabella Crawford. Number 15, Olivia Infante. And number 21, Chloe Travis. And then it's the goalie, Jonna Tucker, for the Bees. Then for the Fighting Saints, number 2, Ishelle Palayo gets the start with number 4, Jimena Diaz. Number 7, Kelly Flores. And number 9, Litzy Flores gets the start with number 14, Mia Okana. Number 15, Citlali Perez. Number 16, Cara Planeta. Number 22, Sofia Velasquez. Number 23, Andrea Aguirre. Number 24, Isabel Diaz. And number 77, Giselle Mata is in goal as we are underway here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Should be a pretty competitive game here in the CCAC. Both of these teams with a decent record have only played 3 conference games so far, but St. Ambrose 1-1-1, St. Francis 2-0-1. St. Ambrose attacking from right to left in their light blue uniforms, and St. Francis, on the other hand, in their white uniforms from left to right. We'll have to see which team can start off offensively the best. St. Francis coming into the game with 18 goals so far on 71 shots on goal, and St. Ambrose with only 14 goals with 59 shots on goal. So pretty even offensively, so I guess it's just a matter of which defense can step up the most heading into this game, at least in the early goings. And St. Ambrose is on the prowl here and on the attack with cross into the middle. Some of the impact players for both of these teams. Mia Hefner, there's no doubt about it. She's one of the impact players, the junior from Bloomington, Illinois. And it's actually funny. Most of these St. Ambrose players are actually from the state of Illinois, but more southern than the suburbs that we're in right now here in Joliet. Some of them from Peoria, some of them from Bloomington, like Mia Hefner's from, some of them from Plainfield. So making the trip across the state to Iowa to play their collegiate soccer here. But then on the other side of things, Mia Okana has 5 goals already this season, and she's had an incredible season. And same with Isabel Diaz, who has 7 goals from Llerena, Spain, as that one goes out of play for a goal kick. St. Ambrose coming off of a dominant 9-0 win over Mount Mary on Tuesday. They started off the season poorly, but a big part of that, according to Coach John Monnell, who I was able to interview before the game, was because they had scheduled such difficult non-conference opponents. And a big reason he said as to why he does that is so that he can see kind of what he's dealing with this team heading into the season. Not only that, but also to kind of give his team an opportunity to play together and to see how well they can play together and what they need to work on, what they can strive with. St. Ambrose has been putting on some good pressure here so far. Jenna Horst centers it into the box. Played down by Kelly Flores. But John Monnell, as that one sent into the box, actually goes to the far side. We'll take a moment to see what happens on this play. And Jenna Horst had that one right in front of the net, and it was cleared away nicely there by believe that was Andrea Aguirre from Lyons, Illinois, the senior, on the clearance. But Coach Mantle, in his 23rd season with the Bees, he has led them to 9 CCAC titles, and we'll get back to that in a second. Here comes Isabel Diaz. She's going to try to chip the goalie. Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness, what a goal. Isabel Diaz, we talked about her at the beginning of the game, how she's a superstar and the impact player for St. Francis, and she just notched her 8th goal, a spectacular goal. Unbelievable. That was really special. And the second that she saw the goalkeeper, Jonna Tucker, off her line, it was wraps. All she had to do was just chip the goalie, and it was that easy. And that was about 30 yards out. That goal, that was incredible. Well, what a first goal to this game. We'll see if there's many more to come. But that was quite the start to the scoring here in this game, and what should be a pretty competitive CCAC game. St. Ambrose also, as we'll take a look really quick at the CCAC standings. Viterbo leads things with St. Xavier, 4-0 for both of them. They're atop the conference. And then you got St. Francis. They're actually second place after technically third, since St. Xavier and Viterbo are tied at the top. Get back to this in a second. St. Francis was on the attack there, but St. Francis 2-0-1. St. Ambrose right in the middle of the pack at 1-1-1. So they really need to get a big win here, you'd imagine, against this St. Francis squad. But St. Francis, they're trying to contend for a CCAC title at the end of the year. But head coach Al Pilar in his 6th season won CCAC Coach of the Year award in 2022, and he's had a great career at a 38, 34, and 14 record overall with the Fighting Saints. Good ball control there by Cara Planeta. And Isabel Diaz pressured, no foul called. The Bees get a steal here, and here comes Jenna Horst up this near side. Horst being defended by Planeta. And Planeta is able to actually draw Horst to dribble it out of bounds, and there's a goal kick. So good defense over on that right side by Cara Planeta, the transfer from JJC, Joliet Junior College. Couple transfers from Joliet Junior College on this St. Francis squad. You got Jalissa Villafuerte, number 25, and then you got number 3, Cassandra Rosales, who's also a transfer from JJC. Not having to go too far, just across town. But besides that crazy goal by Isabel Diaz, it's pretty much been a pretty dominant beginning of the game in terms of possession for St. Ambrose. And here they come. Crossing the box, easily handled there by Giselle Mata. And the cross by Elise Habasetzer. Habasetzer is from Germany, transferred from Mount Mercy College. So St. Francis just trying to get control of the ball here, and Jimena Diaz has it at midfield. Now we'll see if Fighting Saints can start getting a little bit of possession here as they move up this far sideline. St. Ambrose defensively really good. 2 shutouts so far this season for the Fighting Bees. In 9 games played, 3-5-1 record. Look at the space afforded to Jenna Horst. Going up against Planeta again. Horst sends a ball in the box. It's right on the doorstep. But what a play by Mata to have a heads-up mentality, and she was ready for that the second that came in. Giselle Mata from Carpenterville, Illinois, the junior College of Lake County transfer. And she's had a pretty good season so far. 54 saves, 5 shutouts, and only 5 goals allowed. She's been incredible here for St. Francis. was ranked 452nd nationally in saves in her senior year of high school. So she was prepared to go to the next level at the collegiate level, and she won actually CCAC Defensive Player of the Week just a few weeks ago. 15 saves against Olivet in their last game on Tuesday was actually a career high for Mata. Just to mention that game, I mean, Olivet, always a pretty good team in terms of men's and women's soccer in the CCAC, and St. Francis had a very competitive game against Olivet on Tuesday. And here they come again, and the Fighting Saints are going to play that back. It was a valiant performance by Giselle Mata in that tie. 24 shots, 15 shots on goal, 15 saves for Mata, and then 9 shots and only 2 shots on goal for St. Francis in that tie. But we're just about 9 minutes in, and 1-0 lead for the Fighting Saints, and it was a crazy goal. If you're just joining us, Isabel Diaz chipped the goalkeeper for St. Ambrose, Shauna Tucker, from about 30 yards out. That was the first goal of the game. That was really something special. It was incredible. Her 8th goal of the season, which is a team high for the Saints. And Saints just had their homecoming game for football earlier today, and they were able to get the win, a dominant win. Commanding fashion. St. Francis having a pretty decent football season. That game was earlier at 1 p.m. and they flipped things around, and now we have a women's soccer game here at 6. And once again, Jenna Horst has really been great on this left side, sends a dangerous ball in the box. Mia Hefner crosses it in the middle. What an opportunity for Lauren Bendal. She was right in front, and it was blocked. But St. Ambrose right now controlling possession. This is exactly what Coach Mantle would want to see out of his team after they let up a rough goal. And I mean, taking nothing away from Isabel Diaz's goal, but this is an incredible response offensively from St. Ambrose, and they've dominated possession in the first 10 minutes. As you can hear from the crowd, Mike, it's actually got a pretty decent crowd out here tonight. It is an absolutely gorgeous night. How many more nights will we get like this here in Illinois? You got to wonder. The chilly weather is probably coming pretty soon here. We're almost in October. October 1st is on Wednesday. It's unbelievable. It feels like just yesterday that the season started, and we're already pretty much over halfway through. Just about a month ago. Bad turnover in the back, and here comes St. Francis again. Mia Okana. Perfect pass in the middle for Diaz. She got past the goalie, but she's offsides. Really close call and a really good pass as well from Okana, the senior from Chicago. Okana was named CCAC Offensive Player of the Week last week after she recorded her first ever hat trick of her career against Judson. So she had a really good week last week, and she almost just set up her teammate with a big goal. Here's a really good ball, and Mia Hefner just couldn't get the control of it. And Mata is there again. Well, these teams have played pretty much every year since 2015, but dating all the way back to 2006, for pretty much a 10-year span, they did not play. But St. Ambrose is 12-1 against St. Francis since 2006, with 2 wins in the conference tournament. St. Francis' only win since 06 was in 2018 when Saints beat the Bees 3-1 at home. But St. Ambrose on a 7-game winning streak over St. Francis heading into this game, including a win last year, a 2-0 win. St. Francis gains control at midfield. Diaz. Good ball ahead, and here comes a race for it. Good defense by Addie Kirchhoff to get there first. Kirchhoff able to beat the first defender, and that one deflected out of play, but off a Saint last. The reason why on that far side you only see 3 fans is because the sun's setting behind the stadium, and if you're on that side over by the stands, you'll literally get blinded by the sun unless you have sunglasses on, and even then it's still hard to see. So all the fans here on this near side. And after that first goal, the way the crowd sounded, they've come out to support pretty loudly here as Flores tries to feed it to Diaz. Lost possession, and now it's Ellie Bear. Bendel moving it ahead, and that one's deflected over to the side here, and Isabella Crawford not able to control it. Controlled nicely by Jimena Diaz, and Diaz is free. Jimena Diaz has space, but back there defensively was Bear. Jenna Horst lets it roll. Booted upfield there by Aguirre. Controlled defensively by Planeta, sent ahead. Got to think with the way this game is turning into so far, about 15 minutes in, it's going to be a battle of which midfield combination can be the most dominant and can control the play. Honestly, you just never know what's going to happen, but will that one goal, that crazy chip shot by Isabel Diaz, be the difference in this game? Who knows, because Mia Vetter is ahead. Vetter crosses it in the box. Good defensive play. And St. Francis able to move it out. That pass just a little too far, but it's a foul. Advantage was played for a second, but it'll come back. "15 minutes down. 1-0 St. Francis, goal courtesy of Isabel Diaz. And what a season Diaz has had. She had 3 shots out of the 9 shots recorded by St. Francis in that 0-0 tie against Olivet. And that Tuesday thriller, even though it was 0-0, Giselle Mata was the hero for St. Francis, making 15 unbelievable saves. Horst sends another ball in the box, headed off the crossbar. And really close call there for St. Ambrose. They almost leveled things up. What an opportunity there. That was the one time that Mata decided not to come out to cut off the cross, and St. Ambrose. And when I say crossbar, I meant the crossbar of the field goal post, so not off the actual crossbar of the goal. St. Ambrose gains possession again. St. Francis so far struggling to play out of their own end. Here's Kirchhoff playing in that center defensive position here for the Bees. Kirchhoff boots it ahead. Horst is underneath, and Jenna Horst might have an opportunity here. But a good defensive play by Aguirre. She was able to recover from her first mistake. She overestimated where the ball was going to be. Well, I think Al Pilar has got to be happy with where his team's at right now. They're hanging in there. They're playing good defensively. It's exactly how they played on Tuesday against Olivet. They hung in there defensively. They ended up getting a draw. Right now they have a 1-0 lead. They don't really need to feel any pressure to score. They already have that one goal from Isabel Diaz. Diaz played for Firebirds Soccer Club. Went to Colegio de Fomento Pena Mayor. If I'm butchering that, I apologize. Spanish is not my first language. I only took 4 years in high school. It's not enough. That one's going to deflect out of play for a corner. And we've seen how dangerous St. Ambrose's crosses can be in this game, and they're going to get a free one here on their first corner. First corner for any team in tonight's game. 15-6-2 last season for St. Ambrose, 9-2 in conference play. It's a pretty solid season. Won the CCAC tournament title over Olivet 2-1. Cross in the box. It's really a dangerous ball, but Isabel Diaz is there to clear it away. Well, that was a really good opportunity there for St. Ambrose. Another really good cross. Not able to be capitalized on by the Bees. They've had a couple chances, but this defense for the Saints holding firm here. I want to mention that St. Ambrose was able to make the national tournament last season. They beat Oakland City 5-0 in the first round, but they lost in the second round to Spring Arbor 3-2. It was a close game, but they fell just short. The Bees not having as good of a start to the season as they did last year. But there's still a lot of conference play left, and here come the Saints again. Long ball ahead for Diaz, and Diaz is going to be the first one to reach it. Great ball by Okana. Diaz defended by Kirchhoff, and Diaz gets by. Recovering defensively was Isabella Crawford, and that's going to be a corner kick. Actually, it looks like that's going to be a throw-in for St. Francis in dangerous territory. Well, despite that first goal allowed by St. Ambrose, their defense has actually been playing pretty good. They've held St. Francis to only one shot, and that one shot was a goal. Meanwhile, St. Ambrose has nearly 5 shots so far. Good move there by Jimena Diaz. Lost out on it. It's going to be another throw-in. But sports going on all over the place here. Joliet Memorial Stadium, and there's a couple baseball games going on over to the right in some of those fields. Football game earlier, the homecoming game for St. Francis, and now we have this game right here. And we knew this was going to be a competitive game heading into things, and it definitely has lived up to the hype. I think that just went out. Lauren Bendall, the senior from London, across the Atlantic, wasn't able to reach it. She transferred from Salesian College, Bendall. She occupies defenders and helps out her teammates, and that's why she doesn't have maybe as many goals or as many shots as her teammates, but like Coach Mantle said, she occupies defenders, she distracts them, and she's contributing to the team even though she might not have as many goals as she wants. But he said that she really can score those goals if she gets the opportunities, but she's more of a team player than anything, and she'll distribute it to her teammates, overtaking the goal any day of the week. Here's Kelly Flores. Head for Diaz. Diaz is passed a little bit behind Lali Perez, the junior from Chicago, transferred from South Suburban College, which is one of those good schools at the JUCO level for collegiate soccer, men's and women's. And here's the through ball. In again is Jenna Horace, goes with her left. Good save, rebound in front. And luckily, for St. Francis' sake, Ishel Palayo was there, but a good save there by Mata. And that's a field goal kick is good. I think she might be here a little late if she's trying to kick field goals. The football game was earlier on in the day. But not 3 points, but a really good opportunity there for Jenna Horst, who is from Peoria. I was talking about earlier how there's a lot of players on this team from Southern Illinois, including Peoria. And Horst has had a good season. 2 goals, 4 assists so far heading into this game. And she was denied by Mata. Mata has now made 56 saves this season. If you're just joining us and missed out on some stats earlier, Olivet and St. Francis tied 0-0 on Tuesday, and Giselle Mata, the starting goalkeeper for the Saints tonight and in that game on Tuesday, recorded a career high in saves. with 15 in that game. Well, things have definitely not slowed down since the start of this game, and you would typically expect that. Things would start slowing down after a quick start, but things are pretty much at the same pace that they have been throughout the first 23 minutes of this contest. And Horst was looking to run in behind and wasn't able to link up with her teammate. Isabella Crawford is there. Not a good pass, stolen away here by Jimena Diaz. Diaz feeds it in the middle, back outside Diaz. She's going to let one rip here. And a good block defensively, really good. Mia Vetter got in front of that. Here's Okana now. That one's blocked down. Gets it back here to Jimena Diaz. In the middle here, sets up a shot, which is blocked. That one's going to go straight to Tucker. It's actually the first technical shot on goal that Tucker has seen since she was caught out in no man's land and was chipped earlier by Isabel Diaz, and that was the first goal. But the sun is almost completely, or setting pretty quickly. Got to imagine what will it look like in the second half. Will the lights be on by then? And it's definitely going to get a lot cooler. It was pretty much in the mid-70s today. Beautiful, beautiful day. And now it's probably going to get into the upper 60s to mid-60s as the night progresses. And by the time this game ends, the sun will be set. Good run here by Diaz. All in the middle here for Isabel Diaz. Isabel Diaz takes a shot, and that one's wide. But Isabel Diaz trying that long-distance shot. That one was from about 20 yards this time, but trying to test Tucker, see if she is ready for the shot again. After that first shot, and get a substitution here for St. Ambrose. I believe Lauren Malone, who's the starting center back, a junior from Bloomingdale, exits the game for the Bees. And I can't quite see the number right now. The second I can get that number for you for the substitute, I will relay that information. I believe it's Bella Steiner, the sophomore from Davenport, Iowa, and it looks like it is. Transfer from Grandview College, which is another college in Iowa. Free kick going the way of St. Francis here. St. Francis is like a brick wall back there, defending for their lives against that St. Ambrose attack. But now over the last couple of minutes, we've seen St. Francis more or less control possession. Here's a great ball into Jenna Horst, and she's free. Jenna Horst to tie the game. It's a goal. Jenna Horst records her third of the season, and we're tied at 1. She's a senior captain for the team, and from what we just saw right there, she loves to get in from behind the defense. And John Mantle said that she's a great one-on-one player, and right there she had a battle against Andrea Aguirre in a one-on-one there, and she won that battle and tied the game. Only the 6th goal allowed this season by Giselle Mata, and that one you can't really blame her. That was one-on-one with the attacker. So we're all tied at 1. This is a big CCAC game because St. Ambrose has not had the best start, 1-1-1. St. Francis is 2-0-1. Both of these teams will be fighting for at the end of the year for a conference title, but conference is so evenly matched here in the CCAC. But this is a big game because St. Ambrose has actually received top 25 votes in the NAIA rankings. They're the only CCAC conference team to receive votes or be in the top 25. Heading into this week, the next rankings will release next Wednesday. But they've had a rough start to the season, but the NAIA is understanding that they had to go up against some really tough opponents at the beginning of the season in non-conference play, as there's a foul drawn by Ellie Bear, and the Bees get a free kick. There's also a team that, coming into that game against Mount Mary, had 5 goals. And after that game against Mount Mary, they now have 14 goals after the 9-0 win on Tuesday. Off the free kick, headed towards goal and wide by Mia Vetter. I think from what I'm seeing so far, and it's always better to have a higher vantage point when you're watching any sport, honestly. But from what I can see, the crosses and the free kicks are working out extremely well for St. Ambrose. They're putting an insane amount of pressure in the box on the defense for the Saints. It's been working so far, and here's McKenna Shalavanets getting it to Horst, who has that first Bees goal. Sends a really good cross in the box, and it's headed over the net. Right in front of the net was Lauren Bendal, looking for her second of the year, and she just got that all wrong. I mean, there was nobody between her and the goal except for Giselle Mata, and she had Mata beat if she went to the top corner, it looked like, which is what she was trying to go for. Good play back to the goalie for Mia Vetter. Under pressure by Diaz. We're just showing us St. Francis in the white, St. Ambrose in the blue. We're all tied up at 1. A goal from Isabel Diaz early in the game for the Saints, and then the Bees tied it up with Jenna Horst just about a couple minutes ago. 16 minutes to play in the first half. Really, really good move right there from Roskowski. And Roskowski has some space up the far sideline. Sends a cross into the box, played defensively by St. Francis. And there is a late challenge by Chloe Travis, the freshman from Omaha, Nebraska, coming all the way over from the Great Plains. And Nebraska, we know Nebraska has some good NAIA schools, like Doane University, and you definitely know that Iowa has a lot as well, especially Western Iowa with Northwestern College, and you got a couple others like Morningside, and all those colleges in the NAIA, as we see a couple substitutions. Jimena Diaz is going to exit. Also, Kelly Flores exits. Looks like Jocelyn Favela is in as they play from the back. Jocelyn Favela, the sophomore from Oak Lawn. That one might have rolled just a little far. No, actually kept it bounced by Okana. They'll play it up to Okana, who's got a lot of free real estate. Oh, and she let that one dribble a little far past her. 14 minutes to play. And we're all tied up at 1. It's been a really good game, and it's kind of what we expected. These two teams, who knows what'll happen. You never know what's going to happen at the end of the year when the conference tournament comes around. But they're both definitely in contention to win the conference, to win the CCAC. And both of these coaches have a ton of experience. Al Pilar in his 6th year, CCAC Coach of the Year in 2022, and then John Mantle in his 23rd season. He's a 7-time Coach of the Year last year and the year before, ironically enough. And actually, both of these coaches have won the last 3. So that one's going to roll just out of play. That'll be St. Francis throw. Both of these coaches have won the last 3 CCAC Coach of the Year awards. Back to 2022. '22 for Coach Pilar, 2023 and 4 for Coach Mantle. And here come the Bees again with Horst. She tried to take an ambitious shot right there. That was blocked by Kelly Flores. She's imploring to her defense to step up on that next time and not let a long distance shot be taken. Here's Planeta. She's been out there from the start. And so has Aguirre. This defense for St. Francis plays most of the game, and a big steal by the Bees. Here they come again. Roskowski takes a long distance effort, and it's in. What a goal. Sophia Roskowski, the sophomore, she gets her second, and it's 2-1 St. Ambrose. That one was from about 20 yards out. Chipped over the top of Mata. And after that 1-0 start, St. Ambrose has come back with 2 of their own, and they have the lead. Trying to pick up their 4th win of the year. Heading into some tough games coming up, especially the one this upcoming Wednesday for the Bees at home against Viterbo, who's 4-0 in conference play. They lead the conference, tied with St. Xavier. Then they got a game at home next Saturday against Calumet College of St. Joseph in Iowa. Meanwhile, St. Francis has a game against Holy Cross on the road on Wednesday. And then a home game next Saturday against Mount Mary, the team that St. Ambrose just beat 9-0 a couple days ago. 2-1 St. Ambrose, and we'll see just how St. Francis can respond. And that one's going to dribble a little far for a goal kick. What a goal from Roskowski. My goodness. She just chipped it right over the top of Giselle Mata. That is a hard shot to save for Mata. Roskowski also played for Firebird Soccer Club, as is the case for a lot of these players on the St. Ambrose team, playing for that team. She was an all-conference member in high school, and she's been playing soccer since she was 4. Good steal there. And Nikki Guzman draws a goal kick. But Nikki Guzman getting some cheers here from the crowd. Senior from Plainfield, transfer from Benedictine University in Illinois. There's also one in Kansas too, but she stayed a little closer to home. Ball up ahead, played away by Aguirre. St. Ambrose gets possession again though. There's a big steal at midfield. That's a foul. Late challenge there from Ellie Bear. And Ellie Bear has had a good season as well. She went to Peoria Notre Dame High School down in Peoria with Jenna Horst. They were teammates. She also played basketball in high school as well, and Coach Mantle had a lot of good things to say about her. She's really grown as a player. She's great playing out from the defense, and she's a good kind of more of a center defensive midfielder than anything. But there's a turnover there. Could lead to an opportunity for the Saints. This one can be kept in, and it is by Favela. Garcia Favela sends a cross in the box. Played away, and Jenna Horst uses that right foot to clear that away. Charlize Martel is in for St. Ambrose in attack. The sophomore from Moline, Illinois. And the lights starting to get brighter and brighter here at Joliet Memorial Stadium as the sun sets behind the stadium. It's going to turn into a nice, cool night as Shilivanets, also from Peoria, has the ball. Feeds it across here for Kirchhoff. Up ahead now for Ellie Bear. Good ball ahead. And Horst plays it over to Vetter. And Vetter leads Horst. And here comes Jenna Horst. Already has 1 goal tonight. That cross just a little too far and off the field goal crossbar. 8:40 to play. Substitution for the Saints. Looks like it's going to be Sophia Velasquez, who's in for St. Francis, the freshman from Chicago. So Velasquez comes in for St. Francis, and she played for the Chicago Kicks football club in high school. Has a ton of resilience and holds herself accountable in many different situations that might be her fault. Some players, some people like to blame things on other situations, other things, but she holds herself accountable. If she makes a mistake, she's always the first one to apologize and take responsibility for it. Just shows good leadership traits there. There's a shot wide of the net by Horst, and this is what we typically see as the game progresses, especially late in halves and late in the games. These long-distance shots, the players start getting a little more tired. Jenna Horst has been out on the field for the Bees for the whole game so far. It's not easy. People don't really understand it until they play the sport of soccer, but it's never really easy running around for 90 minutes straight, typically sprinting to the ball. Jenna Horst with a really nice flick. That one's booted away, though. Taken by Vetter. Played ahead, though, and just a little too far there for Velasquez. Played ahead, and here comes Guzman. Guzman not able to get control. Velasquez loses it as well, and we have a player down actually on this near side for St. Francis. I'm not sure if it's any serious thing, and it's not. Kelly Flores gets up under her own power. I think with the way the heat is right now, it could just be some cramping. At least that's what we hope it is. So Kelly Flores looks okay. She's a senior from Illinois, but she went to school in Omaha, Nebraska, which is what we talked about earlier on in the broadcast. She went actually to Creighton University, the home of the Blue Jays, in downtown Omaha. And she transferred after her first season at Creighton. Flores, CCAC Offensive Player of the Week about a week ago, and is the captain for the team. Good control there by Martel. Charlize Martel pressured by Velasquez. Good outlet pass here. Ahead for Ellie Bear. Ellie Bear trying to link up there with Chloe Travis and wasn't on the same page. Jenna Horst is going to get a rest. She has a goal already. Also getting a rest is Jocelyn Garcia Favela for St. Francis. And coming in looks like it's Cassandra Rosales, senior from Joliet, transferred from JJC. Also coming in is Veronica Gordon, the sophomore from Plainfield for St. Ambrose, replacing Jenna Horst, who finally gets a rest after her long first half. Also Jade Rubalcava, a freshman, coming in as well for the Bees. But 5 minutes to play. Here's Velasquez. Loses out on possession. Shalivanets able to get to it. Here comes Charlize Martel on the run behind the defense. This is where St. Ambrose has been so dangerous. Cross in the box, just a little too hard on that cross there from Vetter. And that's going to be a goal kick. Well, I think from the way that the first half has went, the speed has at which it has been played, I think these two teams might be content to go into the halftime break and get some rest as to where this game's at right now, 2-1 tie. Obviously, St. Francis wants to get back in it and tie it, but some of these players have been playing for 90 minutes. Is racing for the ball here is Nikki Guzman, and that one's going to go out of play, and it'll go the way of St. Ambrose. Good defensive play there out of Bella Steiner defensively. Played ahead. Turnover, though, and here comes Kelly Flores. Fouled. This is going to be a yellow card here. Yellow card on Jade Rubalcava. Only 4 yellow cards this season for St. Ambrose through 9 games. There's the 5th. Rubalcava picks up her first on the foul on Flores. But pressure here with under 4 to play in this first half. St. Francis has 2 attackers over the free kick right now, right at around the 26-yard line. Looks like it's going to be Flores who's going to take this one. Try to put in a good cross into the box here. They've got 4 players on the far side, and Flores takes a shot to goal. Easy save by Tucker. Jonna Tucker for St. Ambrose from Utah by way of South Jordan. She transferred from Shoreline Community College, which was a college in Washington. Was 21st in the state of Utah in saves in her senior season with 51. I'm telling you, most of these players, high rank nationally, high rank in their home states during their high school days, typically. As here's Martell. Martell sends a ball in the box, played easily by Mata. Well, the exhaustion's definitely getting there for these two teams. There's no doubt about that. In the last game against Olivet, St. Francis had Lizzie Flores play 90 minutes, Mia Okana, Cara Planeta, Andrea Aguirre, and, of course, Giselle Mata all played 90 minutes for the Saints in that game, the entire game, so they're used to it. They're used to playing a long time, and speaking of that, on the ball now is Planeta, who played 90 minutes in that game against Olivet. Good play to get out of there. Mia Okana feeds it in the middle here for Velasquez. Velasquez loses out control, and here's Roskowski, who had that great second goal. There's a good challenge, and it's just a game being played in the midfield right now. That's what we're seeing. Goes back to the point made earlier about which midfield tandem could play the best and could do the best. That's going to be the difference in this game, and right now it's pretty even, but for a second there it was St. Ambrose leading up to that second goal, and that's why they got it. That one deflected, taken to the outside, long distance shot, wide of the net by Martell. And with 1:40 to play, that just might about send things into halftime with a 2-1 St. Ambrose lead. It was an early goal, a chip shot from 30 yards out by Isabel Diaz. Great first goal. But then St. Ambrose came back with a fury of shots and some great goals too. One of them from Jenna Horst, as there's a long shot handled by Mata. That's going to go out of play for a corner. So maybe one last chance for St. Ambrose before halftime to get a third goal. Also wanted to mention that it was Sophia Roskowski that had that crazy 25-yard chip shot over the top of Mata. This looks like it might be the last play, at least offensively, for any team here in the first half. 50 seconds to go. Third corner of the game for St. Ambrose. They go short looking for Veronica Gordon. That one's played out. Can't really lose it in this end of the field if you're Chloe Travis, and she did. And here comes St. Francis. Maybe they'll get one more shot here with Nikki Guzman. Guzman plays it ahead. Cutting inside. Long distance effort. Easily handled by Tucker. Well, Tucker has no rush to get rid of this ball. And 15 seconds to go. She's going to send one boot away, and we're going to head to halftime
9, 8,
with a 2-1 game.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The score at halftime, St. Ambrose
That'll do it for the first half.
University of St. Francis 1.
So St. Ambrose leads it 2-1, courtesy of Jenna Horst and Sophia Roskowski's goals in the first half. A goal from Isabel Diaz put St. Francis in the lead, but since then it's been the Bees show as they lead it 2-1 heading into halftime. We will be back for the second half after this short 15-minute break.
Sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah, let me do it. Well, we welcome you back here to Joliet Memorial Stadium. Kyle Mathis here, and the sun is set now, so the lights are shining down on the field. St. Ambrose leading it 2-1 over St. Francis as we get ready to begin the second half of this pretty big CCAC conference game between these two teams. Both of them looking for a win to try to give themselves a shot to be up there with the Viterbos and the St. Xaviers of this conference, who are both 4-0. St. Francis second, or I should say third, behind those two teams at 2-0-1, and St. Ambrose right in the middle at 1-1-1. So we're ready to get the second half started. By the way, Ellie Baer was checked out of the game after playing for the entirety of the first half, and coming in for her was McKenna Shalivinitz. St. Francis trying to get the half off quickly. If you're just joining us, St. Francis in the white uniforms and St. Ambrose in the blue. St. Ambrose from Iowa. And the goals were scored by Isabel Diaz, notching her 8th of the year from Llanera, Spain. She scored early on in the game to give the Saints a 1-0 lead, and then St. Ambrose fought back, scored 2, one of them Jenna Horst getting her 3rd, and then Sophia Roskowski got her 2nd. Early pressure by the Bees as they draw a foul on that far side. So the goal for St. Francis would be to try, you'd imagine, to tie the game as quickly as possible and give themselves a shot towards the end to get a game winner here at home. These two teams played one time last year in Iowa. So if we first go through the cross, and that is going to be headed away and taken on the far side. But like I was saying, St. Ambrose won that game last year against St. Francis 2-0 in Iowa. St. Ambrose right now on a 7-game win streak over the Fighting Saints in women's soccer. St. Francis's last and only win against St. Ambrose since 2006 was back in, as that shot splits the uprights for 3. The last win for St. Francis was 2018 3-1 win here in Joliet. So goal kick here. It was essentially different seasons last year. Both of these teams, 9-6-5 for St. Francis, 6-2-3 conference record. And on the other side, St. Ambrose with an incredible 9-2 conference record and CCAC tournament champions. Is that one just a little too close to Mata on the cross from Bella Steiner? But what a fight back. You cannot commend or disregard the fight back from John Mannell's squad in St. Ambrose. Some teams, when they go down 1-0 in a crazy way, like that 30-yard chip shot that Isabel Diaz scored, they would fall apart and they'd get in their own heads. But Coach Mannell said this team's got a good amount of experience. He likes where they're at. He's hoping that the experience from those tough opponents will help them break down a strong St. Francis defense heading into this game, and so far they have 2 goals. 11 goals so far in 2 games for the St. Ambrose squad. 9 goals on Tuesday against Mount Mary, a team that St. Francis will play at home a week from today. And like I mentioned earlier, St. Ambrose has a huge game in the middle of the week. I want to remind you, St. Ambrose received 16 top 25 votes in the NAIA polls, which the next poll is released on Wednesday. St. Ambrose could be on a 2-game win streak going into that, but they have a huge game on that Wednesday against Viterbo, and Viterbo is 4-0 in conference play, tied at the top of the conference with St. Xavier. So that could be a huge game in the CCAC when that comes around on Wednesday, especially if the Bees can hang on and win this one here in Joliet. But it's really turned into a rather comfortable at least weather-wise, night out here, getting into the upper 60s after a sunny and warm day here in late September. Trying to play Kelly Flores out from the back, and it goes out of play. If you're a St. Ambrose supporter, you like where they're at right now. They're in a good position, and they're a good defensive team, really good. And all they have to do is just sit back and try to hold on for dear life, try to keep St. Francis from scoring that second game-tying goal. Good steal near midfield. Really good opportunity. St. Francis might have a chance here with Diaz. Diaz tries to chip the goalie again. Oh my gosh, hit the crossbar. Isabel Diaz completing the crossbar challenge from about 40 yards out that time instead of 30. She somehow one-ups herself after that goal earlier. She almost just tied the game. And she is the difference maker for this team. She's played unbelievable this season so far, and she's got quite the resume heading at least into her time with St. Francis. As she's from Llanera, Spain. Have some pressure here from St. Ambrose. It was Lauren Bendal who was pressuring, but she transferred from a college in Spain called Colegio de Fomento Peñamor. Feeding it ahead now, and up ahead comes Nikki Guzman. Guzman does have a little bit of space up that far side, being tracked down, and the ball is stolen away. What a defensive play right there from Isabella Crawford. Coming all the way back and getting the steal. Steal. This could be a chance here. Kelly Flores tried to get free on a turnover from the back, and there's some St. Francis pressure. That could lead to a little bit more, maybe a game-tying goal. There's Flores, trapped in the corner. Nice move there. That's Jenna Horst, I believe, who's free. Excuse me, now this is actually Jenna Horst. That was actually Lauren Bendal. Horst throw into Bendal. Bendal here, playing it back, and now St. Ambrose can control this. They'll send a cross in the box to the far side here. Chloe Travis makes the run, but not able to get to it in time. St. Francis there defensively. Here's Chilivanets. Back over here to Lauren Malone. Malone almost turns it over. And we've seen that consistently here with St. Ambrose. They've turned it over, passing from the back, and it's led to opportunities for St. Francis. Pressure sent in the box. That could be a handball here on St. Francis, unless the official wants to play advantage, which he does. Here's a shot from distance, wide of the net. Mata had no trouble. Good defense by St. Ambrose to thwart the attack, and they've played really well, especially in almost outpacing the St. Francis attack. As a good ball by Chloe Travis. You can hear that from the crowd. Why are we not running? From one of the supporters here. St. Francis a little bit tired right now. You can tell they've been playing for most of the game. At least most of these players have, and it's starting to become a factor in this game, you'd imagine. St. Ambrose has a lot of endurance as well. That's another thing that Coach Mantle was saying. The endurance for the Bees. is something that, in his mind, really does help outweigh some of the lack of experience that these players might have. At least some of the younger players, some of the sophomores and the freshmen. But their endurance is the thing that helps them out significantly. They can play most of the game and not get tired, and also not only that, but not make mistakes because of their exhaustion. But a 266 and 145 with 32 ties record for Coach John Mantle. And here is a ball trying to find Chloe Travis. Wasn't able to get the through ball there. There's a steal at midfield by Shilivanets. Travis defended closely by Aguirre. Good toe poke there, and it comes right to Kelly Flores. Flores pushed off the ball by Shilivanets, and the crowd agrees with that call. So St. Francis, after that extended period of pressure by St. Ambrose, now they're able to get a free kick, maybe set up a little bit of offense here. Oh, left for Flores, and that one, excuse me, that was actually left for Guzman, and that one was a little far. Out of play for a throw. 34.5 minutes. St. Francis at least looking for a game-tying goal. They'll be looking for a game-tying goal and a game-winning goal, though. There's no doubt about that. They want to get this one. They've had a great start to the season so far. 5 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties. But, man, it's been good as we see Nikki Guzman get a rest. The senior from Benedictine University here in Chicago gets a rest. Immediately on it is Jimena Diaz, who comes back into the game after getting some rest through halftime. St. Francis trying to get the steal deep in Bees territory, and the Bees just calmly pass it out from the back with Olivia Infante. Just a midfield battle right now. Who can string together the most passes and set something up? Haven't seen many deep, long balls trying to get in behind the defenders. I've seen more technical passing. That's the way that these teams have set themselves up. And here's Jimena Diaz. Just loses out on it. A lot of running room here as great ball in. What a chance, and Mia Hefner was just a little slow on getting there on the ball from Horst. Mata was there. High IQ play from the junior. That's the thing with Mata. She's been on top of her game, and sometimes when you're in that goalie position and sometimes when you don't face as many shots, you might just start daydreaming back there, and Mata's been on top of her game here. And many of those passes behind the defense, she's been able to come out of the goal, and yeah, that's risky, but when she gets there, that could save an opportunity for a one-on-one chance, and that's what we saw earlier with Jenna Horst. When she scored that first goal for St. Ambrose, that was a one-on-one chance, and Mata never came out of her goal to block off the angle, and Horst had an easy shot for the goal. Here comes St. Ambrose again. Shilivanets. Ball in here from Addie Kirchhoff. Played up in the air, headed towards goal. Easy save there from Mata again. But the pressure is still there for the Bees. And that right there was Lauren Bendal. Good play from Isabella Crawford for St. Ambrose. And there's a late challenge, leads to a foul and a free kick. And you see this often with teams that, especially as you start getting deeper and deeper into the game, the tiredness starts becoming a factor. And right now, you can just see it a little bit from St. Francis. And there is a foul on Shilivanets. That gives St. Francis a free kick. Can they take advantage of this? They still have a ton of time. They don't need to be in any rush yet. So 30 minutes. There's a foul right there on St. Ambrose again. That one is going to go on Olivia Infante, the sophomore from Spring Hills, Kansas. Has an assist this season for the Bees. Infante is very disciplined, according to Coach Mantle. He knows the goals and assists will come for her eventually, and she already has one assist this year. She was an all-state recognition in Kansas when she was there playing high school in Spring Hills. Here's a free kick for the Fighting Saints. This could be a good opportunity here for Isabel Diaz. She made a good run. Now on the volley, and there's a good save by Jonna Tucker. Good volley right there. Great pressure being applied by Jimena Diaz. Good passing, though, Mia Hefner. That pass failed her. Jimena Diaz trying to fight for the ball here with Kelly Flores. All this battling around the midfield. It's who's going to take control, as there's a late challenge on Isabel Diaz, and there is a free kick. I don't think there's a card that's going to come out here, but the official is going to tell Mia Hefner to settle things down on the challenges. Actually, I think that's Isabella Crawford that actually he is telling, the senior from Ipswich, England. Well, this is definitely not out of the realm of possibility, but it's not going to be Isabel Diaz on the free kick, I believe. Isabel Diaz scored on a chip shot from 30 yards to open up the game. It's actually going to be Kelly Flores. Flores takes a shot that heads just wide. And like I said before, it isn't out of the realm of possibility that they'll take a shot towards goal on that one. Four substitutions, excuse me. 4 St. Ambrose and 1. So we're going to get Sofia Velasquez coming in for Andrea Aguirre, at least for the Fighting Saints. 4 substitutions, including number 37, Danya Elzane, senior from Bettendorf, Iowa. She plays in that right back position now for the Bees. Here comes Horst. Jenna Horst had that big first goal, open the floodgates for St. Ambrose. Cross in the box. Good play by Mata, looking for Hefner. Mata makes another good smother there on that one. We're under 30 minutes to play here in Joliet. It just seems that St. Ambrose always the first one to the ball on those 50-50 balls. And here's Elzane. Elzane, nice play into Hefner. Not the best pass from Hefner, but that should be a foul on Hefner, and it is. We've seen a couple more fouls being committed here recently by the Bees of St. Ambrose. Starting to rack up those totals in fouls, and in the last game, in their game against Mount Mary, they only had 3 fouls, and they're already close to 10 here tonight against St. Francis. There's a free kick the other way, going in the Bees' favor. Not sure what was happening. They may have played a little early before the referee was ready to signal for the play to start again. St. Ambrose doesn't mind this. Every time something takes a long time to develop, including a play, they can waste more time off the clock with the 2-1 lead. Nice toe poke Playing it up ahead here, and here comes the race from Jimena Diaz. Good defensive play there out of Lauren Malone, and that right there will be a throw-in for St. Ambrose, but Diaz was putting on the pressure. We got another sub for the Bees. Looks like Mia Hefner is coming off. Great performance from her. She's still yet to get a goal this season. Or excuse me, she actually has 6 goals. I apologize. 2 game winners as well. And coming in for her is number 8, Jade Robalcava. Stolen away, and here comes Jimena Diaz. Loses out on it. Feeding it ahead to Martel. Playing it into Rubalcava. Nice give and go. Great interchange of play here out of St. Francis. Just a little too far out of the feet of Citlali Perez. Stolen away, though, and here comes Isabel Diaz. If there's anybody that can be a factor in this game to get a second goal, it's her. And that is a corner kick off of Danya Elzain. Pressure. Well, I'm not sure what the official was signaling here. That was a corner, and it is going to be a corner. From the way the fans were reacting, it seemed like maybe the referee signaled a goal kick for a second there, but that went off of Elzain last. It's going to be a corner. Big opportunity here for the Fighting Saints to try to get that game-tying goal and still have around 25 minutes to get a game winner. They'll go short. Here's Lizzie Flores. Litzy Flores! Oh, what a chance. Just over the bar. As you can hear from the crowd here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, they're a fan of the offensive pressure out of the Fighting Saints. They can sense a tying goal coming. St. Francis pressuring. This could be dangerous with St. Ambrose trying to play out the back. But as I say that, they might have a chance here to break free, and here they come. Great ball ahead here. Looking now for Jenna Horst. Horst not able to get to it. Giselle Mata's the first one there once again. But that ball that is played long for St. Ambrose and played deep for Jenna Horst to run after it is dangerous. St. Francis needs to understand that. I mean, Jenna Horst already scored a goal with a pass like that in a one-on-one against the keeper, Mata. That was the first goal of the game, and she almost just had one there. And we saw one earlier where Mia Hefner could have scored, but then that was ruled offsides. So St. Francis has got to take into account those good passes that can lead the attackers into space. Great ball in here to Elzain, looking for the angle, can't find it. Mata gobbles it up again. Well, on one side of things, St. Ambrose is just playing long balls forward, and Mata's the first one to get there. On the other side of things, St. Francis is getting shots to go, but those shots are just wide or just over the net. Either way, I'm sensing another goal coming pretty soon here in this game. Jimena Diaz slips it over to the side. Great move there, not able, and actually able to get some space up this near side. Might be a cross into the box. It's going to go out of play off of Vetter, and Mia Vetter has had a battle. She comes up limping after that challenge all the way over behind the goal, if you can even see that far on the broadcast. But another corner. Well, St. Francis doesn't have to wait for Vetter to get back onto the field. They can play quickly. And they do have a couple of players open in the box. Here's a header. What a chance. It just goes wide. Can they keep it in? Yes, they can. Cross in the box, deflected out of play by Malone, and now we're just seeing St. Ambrose hang on for dear life. It feels like all the momentum has went back with St. Francis as a low cross by Isabel Diaz, easily handled by the defense, and St. Ambrose is just trying to hang on now. They have this 1-goal lead, and they have 22 long minutes to defend that lead. That header out of Sophie Vaez is just a little bit behind her. Vahez turns it over. Shalavanets. Horst misjudges the header. Played over the head there of Vetter, and Vetter was limping, remember, and she's still coming up limping a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, they're going to take her out. I was just about to say, I wouldn't be surprised if they take her out of the game. Wouldn't be surprised at all. So, Mia Vetter comes out of the game after that challenge. She came up limping, so she'll exit. Danya El Zain will move into the left back position, and coming in for Vetter is Chloe Travis, who's going to play on that right back position. She usually plays offense in forward or midfield, but she'll play defense now. Obviously, the defense getting stretched a little thin for the Bees. Vetter usually plays the entire game if she gets the chance. Good defense there from El Zain. Great ball in here for Isabel Diaz. Diaz cannot connect on the volley. Good defensive play there out of Malone. It would be pretty wild, but not out of the realm of possibility if there's no goals scored for the rest of this game. It feels like it's a potential that it could be that both of these teams are pressuring on and on and on again, but somehow, some way, a goal is not scored, whether that's a third goal for St. Ambrose or it's a game-tying goal for St. Francis. That just feels like where this game is heading. There's been chances, but not chances that you would say are considered high percentage chances. Great pass to the outside, and Chloe Travis has some space. Travis plays a ball in the middle here, looking to the far side, and here is Danya El Zain. She's going to be the first one to get to it. Playing it back, not the best pass, intercepted by the Fighting Saints. Long pass ahead now to Jimena Diaz. Diaz lets it roll. First one there, though, is Kirchhoff. No matter how far up the center backs for St. Ambrose play, there's always a final defender ahead, but this could be an opportunity. It's a 3-on-3. Looking for the cross, and what a defensive play. Once again, this time it's Isabella Crawford. It's another corner, fourth of the half for the Fighting Saints. Looking for that game-tying goal. They've been pretty dangerous on the corners. Just like, kind of like St. Ambrose was on the same side of the field back in the first half. Send it into the box. It's up for grabs. Headed down and played out. We're going to get a foul. It's going to be an injury. I think there might have been maybe a hit in the face. That's why we're immediately getting a trainer out there. Can't quite see who that is down there. So as the trainer attends to the injured player, we'll take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back. Chloe Travis is the injured party. The freshman from Omaha with a goal this year. Went down in the box, and they're going to have to bring out a substitution here for Travis. She's walking off with the athletic trainer. Travis was a part of Gretna Elite Academy club team, and she was a team captain in high school in Omaha, and she exits the game with some medical treatment. She's actually limping, so I don't know if it was a head injury. Never want to speculate, but coming in for her will be Bella Steiner, number 22. So we get going again. 18:27 to play, and the clock is not running. Oh, there we go. St. Francis will take every stoppage that they can get, trailing by 1, and the time continues to tick. I mean, from the way things were looking in this first half, or in the first half, I should say, of the second half, first 20 minutes or so, it seemed like there would be a goal scored by one of these teams, and somehow there has not been. It's pretty crazy to think about. Somehow we haven't seen a goal. And honestly, it was trending at the beginning of the half to be a St. Ambrose third goal to put this game potentially to bed. Then it was trending to be a St. Francis game tying goal and to make things interesting in the remaining time. Could we be set up for a game-winning goal? St. Ambrose makes a couple of substitutions, and Diaz not able to get on top of it, but it's a throw-in for the Fighting Saints, looking for the game-tying goal. 1-1-1 in conference play for the Bees. 2-0-1 for the Saints. Haven't lost a game yet in conference play. Great ball played to Martell. Martell's ball looking for Horst. Just a little bit too long. Look out. St. Francis doesn't want to turn it over in this part of the field, and a weak shot handled by Mata. We've seen Mata, like we did in the game against Olivet on Tuesday in a 0-0 tie. We've seen Mata make significantly more saves, total saves, than number 1, Jonna Tucker, who's in goal for the Bees. Maybe we'll see a goal, though. For the Saints, they're definitely on track to try to get one, or to get one. Here's Litzy Flores. Had a shot that went over the bar earlier on. Looked like it had a shot at going in. Bella Steiner throws it in quickly. Looking for Baer. Good defensive play, though. Baer plays it. Looking for Horst. Defended well. The back by Planeta, who's played the entire game for the Fighting Saints so far. That one's blocked down. Played to Horst with a shot. Blocked in front. Cleared away. Oh, and if Jimena Diaz got to that ball there, she could have played Sophie Vajes in some serious space for the Saints. And she had a ton of space on this near side. Clock continues to run. The time does not favor the Fighting Saints, a team that has 18 goals this season so far. Or should I say 19, including today. They need a 20th to tie this game up. This is a big game for CCAC conference play because these two teams are both definitely contending and contenders for a potential conference title at the end of the season. As we're going to see Sophie Vajes exiting the game, and coming in is Jocelyn Garcia Favela, who we saw a little bit of in the first half. Well, here's Litzy Flores playing it ahead, looking for Jimena Diaz. Diaz putting the pressure on Tucker, and Tucker sends it away. Headed towards the bench here. This is when the substitutes will really, really make a factor. These starters that are out right now, especially defensively for St. Francis, are pretty gassed, and I'd say most of them are gassed for St. Ambrose as well. But now the substitutes, it's honestly it's a chess match at this point. Which coach can make the best substitutions? Which coach knows his players the best at this point in the season, about halfway through? Long boot up the field by Kirchhoff. Played nicely defensively there by Pelayo. Good defensive stop there from El Zain. Not the best pass, though. Intercepted easily by Planeta. Played in here to Okana. Played to the outside. Let's see if they can get a little run going here. And they have something going on here. Can they get something to go? Inside the 10. Cross in the middle of the box, and that is cleared away. These fans are anxious here, at least on the near side, for a game-tying goal. They can sense it. Playing it in here. Well played defensively there by Jenna Horst, and she's gonna draw a free kick here. She comes all the way back. She's playing in a left wing position, which is usually, you're always up trying to look for an offensive play. She comes all the way back, plays a little bit of defense, and forces a free kick. But over the last at least at last 10 minutes, it's been all St. Francis in terms of possession, but they just haven't been able to get enough going to get that game-tying goal. What will happen in the final 12? As we're 78 minutes through. Great leave there by Martel. Sets up Horst. Horst sends a ball in the box. Played away nicely there by Pelayo. That one's blocked by Horst. It'll be a goal kick for the Fighting Saints with 12 minutes left in their fight to try to come back and tie this game up. 2 substitutions for the Bees. Charlize Martel and Jade Rubalcava will exit. Mia Hefner, who got a rest, will come in. So will Lauren Bendal, the 2 starters. And now for both teams, most of the starters are back in the game. Will we see the magic of Isabel Diaz? That's the question. That's the player that really stands out to you if you're St. Francis. Diaz already scored a world-class goal earlier in the game. Opened up the scoring. Cross in the box. Could be dangerous here. Jenna Horst. Offsides. Offside. From what you can't see on the camera angle, the official here on the near side calls it offsides. That was dangerous, though. Jenna Horst had a step on that. She could have set herself up for success there, and she's got it now. Good play there to get the ball out of Infante. I think the defender went through the back of Horst there, and that's going to be a free kick, not another throw-in. If you're just joining us with 10:40 to go in the game, where have you been? It's been a very, very competitive game. It's been super exciting. But we're glad to have you here for the final 10 in what should be a pretty entertaining ending to the game. Isabel Diaz scored the first goal for the Fighting Saints, and 2 straight goals unanswered for the Bees, one by Jenna Horst, and the other one late in the half by Sofia Roskowski, who could be on track for her first game-winning goal of the season. I think they put a yellow card on Mia O'Connor right there. For maybe, not sure what the official verdict was, but here's a free kick for the Bees, trying to put this game to bed. Head it towards the goal, I don't think. Well, yes, actually, Giselle Mata got a touch on that, and it's going to be a corner for St. Ambrose. Fans are not too happy about that. They said they could see that from here. I personally thought it was not touched from where I'm sitting, but referees are the closest. Well, McKenna Shailovitz is going to send this one in. It's up for grabs. They've always been dangerous on corner kicks, and that one's nicely played by Mata. Could this be the break for St. Francis? They had numbers for a second, but St. Ambrose is up 2-1, and they're almost pressing. It's almost like if you were winning in basketball and your coach decided to play the press. Like, there wouldn't really be a reasoning for that, and if there's a goal scored by St. Francis, you'd wonder what the game plan is for John Mantle of why he's deciding to press here. I'm not sure what the referee is signaling here. He stopped the clock with 9:25 to go, but he's explaining something here to head coach Al Pilar. I think maybe Coach Pilar was complaining a little bit about something that had happened, and the referee just going over to explain things to him. We're going to get a substitution for the Saints. Once that player turns around, I will get the player that was substituted ASAP. Not sure what the referee is signaling here. I think he's going to do a drop ball. Wow, that was almost like a jump ball in basketball. He dropped it, and the two players, honestly, it actually reminded me more of a NHL hockey face-off more than anything. Referee drops the ball, and the two players go at it, and whoever can get the ball wins, I guess, and that's a throw-in for St. Ambrose. That's definitely a first. Haven't seen that before for soccer. Oh, what a play there. This could be a chance. Jimena Diaz plays it to the outside. Moving it ahead here is Nikki Guzman. Guzman challenged in the box. Couple players down. They're looking for a penalty. We have an injury here. Danya Elzain with the challenge on Guzman. No penalty. The referee says it's a clean challenge. What a huge play by the substitute, Elzain, who came into this game as a right back, transferred over to a left back position after the injury to Chloe Travis, and probably just made one of the biggest defensive plays of the day for St. Ambrose. Pressure still on, though. Cross in the box by Diaz, blocked down. Played nicely there from Kelly Flores. It's cleared away. Handled nicely there by Okana. Play to the outside, cleared away by Elzain. What another great challenge there from Elzain again. She has been a pillar back there defensively for the Bees. Time is running out for the Saints, and they feel the pressure. And the fans feel the pressure too, as that's a throw-in for the Bees. St. Ambrose making late substitutions to try to hang on for dear life. Olivia Infante is out. Coming in is Isabella Crawford. Well, St. Ambrose will be okay with this. They're just playing it around and St. Francis's end of the field, and they're forcing throw-ins, and it's hard to really do much with throw-ins, but they've got another one here, the Saints. Great steal here. Crawford plays it into Horst. Great ball in, looking for Horst. Good defensive play right there out of Guzman. He's come more into a defensive role rather than offensive. Man, Elzain gets hit again. She has been a trooper out there right now for the Bees. But she's been physical. It's a race for the ball. And that's going to be a goal kick with 7 minutes to play. 7 minutes for the Saints, the Fighting Saints, to try to get a game-tying goal. They're undefeated so far in conference play with 2 wins and 1 tie. And they have a huge game coming up against Holy Cross in the midweek. St. Ambrose has a huge game against Viterbo in the midweek as well, so both of these teams would want to get at least some sort of momentum, whether that's a win or a tie, heading into those midweek games in the CCAC. Played to the outside here. Bendal's got it. Great challenge right there. Unbelievable. Play to the ahead for Jimena Diaz. Diaz tries to get by. Toe pokes it ahead looking for Okana. Okana can't get to it. There's a turnover though. To the outside looking for Jimena Diaz. This time cannot find her. They play it ahead here to Mia Hefner. St. Ambrose trying to put the dagger in this game with Horst. Good save there by Mata, and it'll be a corner for St. Ambrose. The more time they can kill off the clock, the more they can finish the job in this game. And the more they can feel comfortable. And number 2, McKenna Shilivanets, will not be in any rush to take this corner. It's actually going to be Isabella Crawford who's going to take this. The transfer from St. Joseph's College over in England is from Ipswich, which has a Premier League team. So she's probably seen her fair share of Premier League soccer when she grew up in England. Actually, Ipswich Town is the team name. They just got promoted to the Premier League for the first time in a long time, probably over 30 years. And it's cleared back to the middle here. Nicely played there from Okana. St. Francis needs an attacking spell here. They just need to send bodies forward at this point. I mean, what do they have to lose? They're already trailing. They need to start sending some bodies forward and seeing what they can do offensively. Cross in the box. Played down nicely. Handled there by Guzman. Played ahead there. That could be a late challenge. That is a free kick. For football terms, inside the 20-yard line. 18 yards. So from the goal, which is about 2 yards maybe from going into the back of the end zone. So it's going to be about a 16 to 15-yard free kick. Or excuse me, actually it's going to be more like, they're going to place it, this is going to actually be about a 30-yard free kick, which is not close at all. I mean, the box is 20 yards out. So this is a long way. Free kick of a lifetime, and that one just over the net. What a chance for that game-tying goal. Just over. I think that was Kelly Flores who gave herself a shot to be the hero for the Fighting Saints. Remember, the clock only stops if the referee signals a stoppage. So the clock is running, and St. Ambrose is wasting a little bit of time here to the anger of the crowd. Not the best pass. Mia Hefner gets a steal. Taken and booted away. St. Francis pressuring near midfield. That pass to the outside taken by Jimena Diaz. Diaz plays it in the middle here. That one went off of a B last. Nope. I was going to say it went off of St. Francis last. Played up to Shilivanets. Up ahead it comes here to Bendal, who's been really good in that midfield position. And Lauren Bendal's got some space. Very good with those skill moves. And now St. Ambrose can time waste with 2.5 to play. Up ahead here it comes to Jenna Horst, who had that game-tying goal. Right now it's Roskowski who's the hero for St. Ambrose. She has the game winner. That would be her first of the season if this stands. And there's 2 minutes to go. So maybe one more big chance for St. Francis before this game is finished. So we're in the 89th minute now. St. Ambrose has taken all the time in the world. This is what happens when your team has the lead. And look at El Zane all the way in that far corner, shielding the ball. Goal kick, St. Francis. 1:45 to play. Who could be the hero for the Fighting Saints? Taken by Jimena Diaz. Kept alive, though. St. Ambrose has the steal. Played ahead here to Horst. Horst trying to get by Planeta. A steal. Playing it into Horst here, trying to finish the job. Horst is offsides. 1:18 to go. St. Francis has got to hurry if they want any chance to tie the game. Played ahead, and the first one there is a Fighting Saint. And the pass, not the best right there from Jalissa Villafuerte. Bendal into Hefner, back to Bendal. Stolen by St. Francis, 40 seconds. Not the best clearance there out of Addie Kirchhoff, and here we go. St. Francis has got to send bodies ahead right now. Played into Horst, and Horst has it. If she can get to this ball, that might be all she wrote, and she does. Horst has just finished the job as she takes it to the corner with 20 seconds to go. That goes out for a goal kick, or actually it's going to be a corner, and that is going to do it. St. Francis will pick up their first loss of the season, as you can hear from the PA.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The final score.
That will do it. What a win for St. Ambrose. 2-1. A thrilling game. It really could have went either way tonight. And St. Francis had the chance to come back and to try to tie things up, but they just couldn't get it done at the end of the day. And St. Ambrose is now 2-1-1 on conference play. St. Francis picks up their first loss in the CCAC this season with a 2-1-1 record now. Same record for both teams, and you wonder how far will this game go at the end of the season for CCAC conference alignment in terms of the tournament. Some final stats as we close things out. 2-1 final. St. Ambrose beats St. Francis. The opening goal scored by the Fighting Saints, Isabel Diaz, but 2 unanswered. One of them from Jenna Horst and the game-winning goal from Sophia Roskowski late in the first half, her first game-winning goal of the season. And the final is 2-1, St. Ambrose, who gets an important win heading into their meeting with unbeaten Viterbo on Wednesday. And St. Francis will meet Holy Cross on the road on Wednesday. For now, we say thank you for joining us and so long from Joliet Memorial Stadium in Joliet. I'm Kyle Mathis signing off. St. Ambrose wins it 2-1. We'll see you next time.